Grant on it, slips it infield, inside to Sinclair Smith. Sinclair Smith, goalkeeper, comes out, he takes a pass from Sinclair Smith, and it's 7! Finlay Sinclair Smith gets on the score sheet for Marine with a delightful finish. 7-0. Corner kick for the Mariners. Solomon will take on this near side. Right-footed in swinger to come. Towards the middle to go. And it's in! It's in direct from the corner! Saul Solomon makes it 3-1 to Marine with 15 minutes to go. Direct from a corner. As that is the full-time whistle, and the Mariners are Liverpool Senior Cup champions for the second year in a row. A really good first half performance, and seeing out the game in the second half, see them bring the cup back to the MTA.
Nice play from Marine, and it's a penalty to Marine. A brilliant little move there, one-touch football, and it was Solomon was brought down. Army of Macclesfield fans behind that goal stepped up. Sinclair Smith, Marine's top scorer, takes 1-0 Marine. What a start! Marine in front, and what a start for Marine in this playoff final. 1-0 Sinclair Smith, brilliant. Wardle gets to it. It's with Grant. Grant gets a shot in. It's with Bainbridge, and what a goal! 2-0 to Marine. Oh, the Marine fans behind the goal are going absolutely wild, as are we up in the press box. We can't believe it. What a goal.
This is the first episode of the Marine podcast. We do not have a title for this podcast yet. Please send us in names. Does anyone have any names right now on the table?
Mariners on the mic.
That's good, actually. I like that one. Anything else?
That is good.
I've got
I do like that.
Marine Live or Marine Life.
We did have a few suggestions, didn't we? We had an Iron Maiden.
Iron Man.
But we'll go around the table and say who we've got. So we've got Stuart, we've got Kevin, we've got Tom, and we've got Sean. You might not know from Sean in the media team, but he's actually the analyst at Marine. He takes all the recordings on the cameras. You might hear him in the background of the highlights shouting. But he's actually an essential
part what he's doing today.
Of Neil Young's team, aren't you, Sean?
Yeah, try to be.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do basically a recap of the season. We're not going to go too deep into every single game, but obviously it was a cup run with cup wins and then a promotion that ended in May at Macclesfield. So in terms of like what we expected, what we when we all walked in as this new media team, what were we expecting to see?
I knew bits about Marine. I think I'd heard promotion was the target. I don't think I ever believed or thought they would do it, just based off purely the fact I did not know the players, the team, the staff or anything as much as I do now.
Is that because we went to the 0-0 game at Trinity and we thought why are we here?
No, not even necessarily that. But I think I said my highlight was FC United. After that game, I was like, hang on, these are actually a good team here. And after that, it was just like, if they keep on winning, they might do it. And then they obviously had the slump in January, winter January time, and you were like again, hang on. But then again, yeah.
Why am I here?
Yeah. It was an up and down season, wasn't it, really?
The first round of FA Cup, why am I here?
This is the official positive podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
I spoke to Kevin a few times, and we were like, hang on. But then the week after, hang on, they're going to do it.
Before you put words in my mouth. No, look, it was an up and down season, and it eventually ended on an up. Just as a preview, we spoke to Chris Doyle, which will be released in a bit, but he never wavered, and obviously he's in with the lads, and they always had a belief. But I think, look, my first time working at this level, I think expectations, I just wanted to know all the players because I'd never done commentary before, so identifying each one was the thing. But look, as the season goes on and you get to know them, you spend a bit of time around the playing staff, around the people in the club, the analysts, obviously. You get to know them and you just want them to do well. So I think, like what Tom was saying, when you have those bit of wavers of they might not do it, because there were definitely points in the season where it looked tough, but they were always thereabouts, and look, got their reward in the end.
Before we come to like maybe the official line from the backroom staff of Sean, like me and Stuart, we were going to the games last season before we were even part of the team, and we saw that team basically get dismantled, and through the summer all our favourites were gone, apart from maybe Sol.
Yeah,
and then,
a few others.
And then we had to see and then we just saw this brand new team, and we thought, like, what can this team do? We don't know what this team can do, because we've never arguably seen them. So what did you think, Stu?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, having seen the season before in that league, I knew it was tough. I knew it was going to be a tough league. Obviously, we had the addition of Macclesfield in the league as well. In all honesty, having seen us the season before, I wasn't confident that we could even make it to the playoffs. I thought we might be there or thereabouts, but I wasn't confident. And I was, we know that Neil, he does tend to rebuild after every season. He's pretty ruthless. Players go, new ones come in, and he will rebuild mid-season if necessary. And clearly that's what he did. So we had a lot to get used to in terms of new players and all the rest of it. It was in many ways a completely new team. So yeah, I was astounded really how the season went, particularly at the end, because I really thought we'd find it tough to be up there and in competition at the end.
Yeah, and so Neil hasn't got rid of is Sean, who's sitting right here. So you're part of the staff. So what did you think as the team? What could you have done this season?
Start of the season, I thought we could win the league.
Yeah.
That was what I genuinely thought this team could win the league, because I knew we recruited well. We did well last year, first year in the league, finished 9th. I think we should have played in the playoffs. We had a bad finish to the season. I think we lost 5 out of the last 6 or something at the end of the season. We should have finished in the playoffs. I think if you don't have that slump in December, January time, whatever, I think we wouldn't have been far away. I think the players we brought in after Hyde, I think a lot of them lads were unbelievable, and we won 8 of the last games. 8 last games, and I think going into Macclesfield as underdogs, I don't think any of the lads believe that. I thought we'd get the playoffs, yeah, and I thought we'd get promoted, to be honest.
Yeah, you were like, when I was speaking to you, you always felt like we were getting the playoffs. You felt like we were going to win every single away game.
2 months to go, I knew we were going to play Macclesfield in the final at Mac. I said it, we're going to play Mac at the final at Mac, and we're going to beat them.
Well, let's rewind. Let's go away from Macclesfield as far as possible. So we had a little bit of a shaky start, and then we kind of coasted through a lot of autumn, and that led to the FA Cup. I think Kev's possibly got some fixtures coming up, but we had a really good run that ultimately led to an FA Cup run as well.
Yeah, the FA Cup was incredible, really, when you think about it. Obviously, again, you want to move away from Macclesfield, and we'll get to obviously that's the main thing this season, promotion. So you nearly forget, the Halifax game was in October. That's ages away in the context of the season, but that cup run was incredible. Not only obviously the Halifax game, which was just, me and you, Adam, were at it, and I remember that first half just being shocked, because played them off the park, a National League side, and in their ground, and obviously got the early goal, and then it could have been 2, maybe 3 at half time, and then obviously look, they're going to have a spell in the second half and have a few chances. Felix was in goal at that point, pulled off a really good save at the end, but before that Spennymoor performance away from home went really under the caution that second half, and 2, obviously Sol got the penalty, Mampalo, brilliant finish, and then 3, I'm pretty sure I said to you guys 3 days later in the replay at home to Spain, where it's they do not want to be here on a Tuesday evening, 3 days later, down from the northeast, and absolutely dispatched them with fair. I know it was 2-1, but it was fairly easy from memory. And then again, we've been talking to Chris about the Harrogate game, well in it in the first half, and then I think the third goal right at the beginning of the second half from a mistake. I think it was a short back pass to the goalkeeper, and then their obviously quality showed through. So first round of the FA Cup is, for a club like Marine, is huge. And I think, funny enough, if they hadn't done the Spurs run a few years ago, this would maybe even be bigger. That FA Cup run, and I still remember the feeling of when Chris Doyle scored that header at the back post against Harrogate to bring it level, and it was just phenomenal. Over 2,000 people at the MTA, and it was incredible. It was brilliant.
What are your thoughts, Tom, about the start of the season? When we first started out and we were just getting used to the team, and what are your kind of memories about the first third of the campaign?
Yeah, like I said, Gainsborough wasn't the best start. We all had, it was it's going to be a long season. A 0-0 draw.
Very harsh, Tom.
I think the the traffic getting there didn't help either. So.
I think it was possibly
just-
the longest,
Yeah.
the longest bus we did.
It was
have.
a long day, wasn't it? Yeah. But then, as I said, in the opening stages of this podcast, that FC United game, you're
Just
like,
the
wow,
5-1.
Yeah, the 5-1. Man, part of that, I just remember that looping, powerful strike into the top corner. You're like, yeah, this is a good team. They're gonna go places this season. And then, it was a bit of an up and down start. Got a few really big wins. I think obviously FC United and Guiseley in the FA Cup. I think that was a big win as well. Yeah, big wins, but then disappointing results at the same time. And then as we mentioned already, after that Hyde game, it was just going up.
Typically, Hyde were along with Macclesfield. Like Hyde was a narrative. Through the season, like we got beat early on by narrative by Hyde, by narrative FC. But typically we were going down in the first half, and then we were working a lot harder in the second half. But as I spoke to Neil in interviews, he was like, "It doesn't matter because we were down. Of course they're going to work harder. They got nothing to lose." Like we lost to Hyde, and I think we lost at home, possibly to Whitby as well. But then we got on that autumn run. So it was
a weird start because we were dropping points against the weaker teams. I from what I can remember anyway. And then obviously we beat Radcliffe, and that was another big statement win. I want to say, this team's they're going to be all there this season going for the playoffs. And
so like our two biggest games, like the two biggest games of the season, you always would have thought with Macclesfield and Radcliffe, and they both came within like the first few months, and they were both on Tuesday nights as well. So we got to experience that. What about you, Stuart's first season as a public announcer?
I want to talk more about September actually, and I remember it so clearly because we kept winning, and every time we won at home, at the end after the game, I would play September by Earth, Wind and Fire for that feel-good feeling.
Do you remember?
Do you remember? Absolutely. Oh yeah, very good, Kev. So I just looking at the results now actually, and September was amazing. So it was Guiseley 0-0 away in the FA Cup, and then the replay the Tuesday on the 5th, we won 3-0. Stafford Rangers away in the league, won 2-0.
Hottest day of the year.
Yeah. Spennymoor away in the FA Cup, 2-2, and then back here at the MTA, beat them 2-1, and then Radcliffe, that was when we beat them 3-2 on the 26th of September, and then we beat Hyde 2-0 away. So September was absolutely amazing, just incredible. And at that point, I just felt, well, this team, is capable of anything. I was expecting great things in the FA Cup, which we did get, but great things potentially in the FA Trophy, which is a competition I always thought we could do better in, and I thought we'd make real progress this season. And everything looked great in the league. And that carried on into October, of course, because Halifax was the 14th of October. And I remember that very vividly because I couldn't go because I had to work at the university on an open day, and I was listening to the commentary afterwards on the train, and fantastic commentary, Kev, of course.
Award-winning commentary.
It was absolutely amazing. So, we're just unbeatable at the start of the season. It's way better than I imagined it could be.
Yeah, and we want to try and tie this in with like our journey as media, and before we leave the luxury of August, September, Kev went on the journey with Tom to St Ives, as the song goes.
Yeah, that was rough, Tom.
I thought that was earlier because I said about the ups and downs, but obviously September was brilliant, and then the downs are a bit
St.
in
Ives.
October.
So I can't remember why. Oh yeah. So basically, we are very lucky this season to 4 away games. We got to go on the team coach. So they pick you up outside the MTA. But for this particular game, it was an overnight down in St. Ives in Cambridge, and me and Tom were the only ones available and couldn't go. So I said we'd have some coverage there, that I'd drive us down. So me and Tom, I drove down, and Tom was in the passenger seat and
Providing the music.
Yeah, we'll get onto that later. But yeah, it's a long L trek, and it was a tough game. Do you remember the pitch was a 4G and you weren't allowed on it, and it was a weirdly small ground. You thought it was big, thought it was bigger, and then the press box was a bit cramped in, and I mean, they didn't play that well, did they, Sean?
The gaffer was wearing my boots.
He was.
2 sizes too big for him. He still talks about that.
Yes.
They wouldn't let him on the pitch.
Neil was not allowed on the pitch.
Not happy with that.
Yeah, and look, it wasn't their best performance. They were beaten 3-1, and it wasn't great.
So surely that's the end of the story then.
No, it's not the end of the story, because on the way back, in the lashing rain on the M6, I hit something on the motorway and my exhaust fell off, and we somehow made it back to Merseyside.
But your exhaust didn't.
Hey!
No, the exhaust
I was
did.
exhausted.
The exhaust did, but it ended up costing me 250 quid to replace. So I was good. And yet that's not my
That's more
worst
expensive
away
than the
day.
season ticket.
That's not my worst away day this season, but it's up there. But look, that was, I think, with a squad like this, and Neil talked about it at the back end of the season, when you have a squad of sort of 14, 15, 16, like cup run, promotion, sometimes you just can't go across 3 competitions. And look, we'll get another crack at the FA Trophy next season, and who knows.
Then we kind of leave the jump predictability possibly of August and September, October. And then once we kind of lost, like you just said, the St Ives game, that followed by the Harrogate game. And then it was kind of like sort of a mix, pick a mix then of draws, wins and losses then. And coming up possibly into Christmas, or we're getting close to Christmas, is the dreaded Morpeth trip, which is, Chris Doyle mentioned it in another podcast, but we basically, none of us could go. And then you probably are the only person that went on this table, assuming you went.
Yeah.
And so for those not in the know, like if she wants to go into it, it was how long were you on a bus?
Too long. I think we left here. I had uni that morning, I think. Yeah, I had a presentation in uni that morning. And I had the presentation at 12. We left on the bus at 1 here. 1 to get to Morpeth. And I had another presentation the next day. But so we got to Morpeth anyways, all good. Got to Morpeth. Game was terrible. Did we lose or draw?
You lost.
1-0.
That wasn't even the most, except that was...
Referee was... we'll leave that.
But you're usually quite complimentary of officials, Sean.
Never. Well, the referee was atrocious. We lost the game. Felix Goddard went off injured. I think he collapsed in the dressing room or something like that. He was out injured for a long time. But so we were waiting on an ambulance. So we were late leaving, which is obviously his health comes first. But you've got a long journey back to Morpeth. And I've only broken down, been in a car where it's broken down twice at this moment of time, and it's twice been outside Darlington.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a blowout, so we didn't get back till 6 the next morning.
So who was the cheeriest on the coach during that time?
I don't think there was anyone.
No one, because we saw a couple of pictures and there seemed to be people like enjoying themselves.
Yeah, till they realised that we were sitting there for 3 hours.
Oh, so that was early on in the delay.
Yeah, so we were going down. And I think we told the bus driver there's something wrong with the bus, and he was like, you know, Gaz. He was like, oh, okay. So he kept driving, and next thing I looked down and Owen Robinson's bouncing off the back of the bus. I was like, no, Gaz, you need to pull over.
Is that like typical of like, does that happen every season? That kind of like a blowout or some kind
Well,
of...
I've been here 2 seasons, and we've had 2.
One a season?
Not blowout. Last time we had first game of the season last season. We had Gaisley, first time in the MPL, and there was like smoke coming out of the back of the bus, so we had to get a new bus, which was because we were in Bradford. It was fairly easy to do. We just changed over 20 minutes or something. Some of the lads were outside the bus. It was fine. It was a nice warm day, unlike Morpeth. It was freezing cold. We had to get off the bus, but that's been twice. But then apparently the season before that, the bus went on fire or something. So
Other buses are available, by the way. Not a great day, and if anyone wants to jump into Christmas, feel free. But we were getting results here and there, but then we kind of entered the spell, starting with Whitby Town on the 23rd of December, where, as far as I know in my notes, we possibly dropped 10 points between Whitby and Hyde, which was the turning point really of the season, I think. So kind of drew away to Whitby, we drew at home to Warrington, we lost to Baseford, which I think me and Tom went to, and then we get to Hyde, which I think deserves its own section. So maybe because Sean's here and he's got some insight into the team, would we have got those players post Hyde if we hadn't have lost to Hyde? The Bobby Grants, the Sass, the Waters.
with Bobby, I think, well, Darius had gone, didn't he? He was the striker. Yeah, we needed a number 9. I think that's where the gaffer wanted to go. We wanted a more physical, someone up front who could. There wasn't anyone around. I don't think there was, but I don't think we're struggling to get people. And the gaffer, I think, heard that Bobby was interested, and he was playing for Remick at the time.
Yeah, but Bobby's got his own legendary backstory. But
yeah, I don't know what the story is, but yeah. So he signed Bobby Grant, and what a signing that was. Just as a character, like. He's just so good with everyone, like all the young lads. He took Owen Robinson under his wing big time, and like just in the dressing room, it's just a game changer in it. Having a character like him come in, it's just like join the lads even closer. Like you have lads in the dressing room, but I think it was just something we needed. I think at the time, he was a big change. Freddie Sass come in. I think Nathan Woodtop was on loan money, and then Chester recalled him, so we needed to get a player there. So that's where Freddie and Matty come in. Matty got off to a very good start, didn't he? I think it was just we went more physical, didn't we?
Yeah.
With more like long balls, and so that's where Freddie was with his
long throws.
With his throws.
Because we don't like on the outside. Like I've said this to the other guys. I felt like the Hyde defeat was the best result of the season. I think, like from an outsider's point of view, that it got some fans riled up. I'm sure Neil already had those stokes in the fire with those players coming in, Bobby's and Matty's and Freddie's, but it felt like from the outside...
It was a wake-up call, right?
Yeah, they lost, and suddenly Bobby, Matty and Freddie were on the team.
Scott Butler too.
Yeah, so it felt like, to me, I felt like it was the best thing that could have happened, because we were at the moment before that, we were coasting with draws and wins every so often, and it seemed like Hyde was like, right, we can't deal with this. What's your viewpoint on the Hyde effect?
Well, as I said, I think it was a wake-up call. I mean, just going back just before that, so we'd had a great result at Atherton Collieries, and that was quite an experience at Atherton on a Tuesday night in the dark, cold December night. But I mean, that 5-0 win at Atherton, I think that kind of underlined what we had, and we could do it. But that spell we went into after that, I think, was just really, really tough. And I mean, we haven't mentioned Baseford. I couldn't go to Baseford, but we lost 2-1 away at Baseford, which was a disappointment as well. And then Hyde came on the back of that too. So, yeah, I mean, something had to change. I think it was ripe for change. Having been a season ticket holder for a few seasons, I know that's often the time when new players come in and Neil looks to change things around. And, you know, we talked about those players and the impact that we made. So, yeah, I think that was absolutely pivotal. I wouldn't underestimate as well it seems like a trivial thing, but off the back of that, we then played Widnes in the Liverpool Senior Cup at home. We won that one 3-1. Okay, not a particularly tough game by the standards of the others, but just progressing in that tournament. Obviously, it was a tournament ultimately we retained. I think that was an important result. It wasn't a massive crowd, but, you know, gave the team confidence, got us back into winning ways, and things started to turn around from then. I think we shouldn't overlook that game.
Yeah, I think that was where Bobby was watching. I think it was not Bobby. That was the first time I met Bobby. Yep. He was in the stand. I think he came in as FC United tracksuit, which has got its own backstory. Just to close on the Hyde thing, like we've actually got a pre-season game with Hyde coming up on the 3rd of August, which Hyde have announced. So by the time this episode goes out, I'm sure that's common knowledge. But yeah, we're going to see Hyde again, even though they're still in the NPL and we're in the NLN, if that's an acronym. The Hyde effect. Anyone else want to speak about that game, which was...
No, I think we've kind of covered all base on that. It was just one of those performances where nothing went right. They were fairly clinical, and yeah, just a good kick up the backside, I think, all round. And again, if you just
hurt the lads as well, didn't it?
No, 100%. Again, you'd know more than me, Sean, but you know, it would have to. You know, it would have to. Like when you lose that in that way to a team who are in and around you in the league table, you know, and who'd beaten you previously in the league that season, you know. But good thing is it all went right from there, Adam. So,
and that's where we're heading next. So we're heading in the right direction, and I can see on Stuart's notes here he's got a list of 4 players, and I think Sean already mentioned them, but like that's when we started to get players in. That was like a new kind of anchor to the team. We got Freddie Sass, Gregson, Waters and Grant, and then like Stuart said, after Widnes, I think Grant came in. I want to say Bradford or Stafford that he started. Yeah. And then he went on a tear along with Finn, who just scoring left and right. And then we came into our like second wind, which kind of lasted pretty much after Hyde all the way through. apart from I think was there only 2 losses? It was 3. What was the?
It was Radcliffe, Mac, and Rylands away.
Yeah, Rylands. Yeah, so it was getting a bit worrying in terms of for me because we weren't beating those head-to-heads that we needed to do if we were to get into the playoffs. But Stu wants to maybe bring up specific fixtures that we actually did really well in.
Yeah, so I mean, January was, after the difficulties there'd been over that Christmas period, January was quickly a lot more positive. So obviously the Hyde result, 6th of January, but Widnes Liverpool Senior Cup I mentioned, 3-1 at home. We won at Stafford 4-0 away. Bradford Park Avenue, I think that was an important game to win. And it was a tough game. I mean, they were, in the relegation zone, I think, at the time, and they were ultimately relegated. But winning that game on an incredibly cold Tuesday night, I mean, I think we still remember.
-3 degrees.
That was so cold. And that was one of the places where we weren't allowed in the indoor media team area, and we had to do it all outside. But then Bamber Bridge, 20th of January, 7-1.
Yeah.
So we won that one 7-1 away, which was absolutely stunning. And so I've just got a couple of bits. I've got just a very short clip interview that I did with Neil after the Bamber Bridge game. So I'm just going to play that in. So that was a fantastic performance against Bamber Bridge, absolutely stunning. So I'm not going to play the whole interview, but here's just a few little excerpts from it. So 7-1, I'm going to say that again, 7-1 away against a team in form. No, you're a man of high standards, but you can't have too many complaints, surely.
No, obviously, we're not going to have any complaints to come here and win. Just to come here and win is a challenge in itself. As you say, they've been on a good run, particularly at home. I think they won the last 2 home games. So we knew it was always going to be tough. But, we're in a good place at the minute from a confidence perspective. As you've seen today, working the socks off.
Big game against Worksop a week today. I mean, just how big is that game in Marine season now?
I think they're all big games. There's lots of teams, challenging to want to be in the playoffs. It's quite a tight league. It's starting to open up a little bit now. It's very tight around Christmas. And Worksop, from an experience perspective, probably the most experienced team in the league, I think, from a player's perspective, real good side. It's the next game. They're all tough games. Anyone can beat anyone at any given time, and I'll start thinking about Workshop after I've enjoyed this one, I think.
Great journalism by you, first of all. Stuart. Just had to get that in there,
So, thanks, Kev. So Neil's obviously saying, he's kind of downplaying it a bit, saying, oh yeah, obviously Worksop is just the next game. I'm going to enjoy this one. For quite right too, right? Going to enjoy the fact we've just won 7-1 against Bamber Bridge. Yeah. I'll think about, the Worksop game later. We all knew how big that game was. It was absolutely massive. Huge. We all knew that. We went down, I think, 1-0 after 12 minutes.
And I think at the time, we hadn't come back from any kind of... once someone scored, we did not come back to a win, as far as I remember.
No. It was basically going the same way the Worksop away game went, except the opposite. Because obviously, that was a huge win, the Worksop away, where they had to really dig in. But it was the same thing, scrap. Well, it actually wasn't a scrappy goal, was it? From their point of view, absolutely. Was that the one where the right back absolutely crashed one into the top corner? It was, yeah, because I remember, because Joe Ferguson scored in the away game, was the 2 right backs, but
and
yeah.
Johnny Spittle got sent off.
Yeah, in the away game.
Felix was unbelievable.
Yes. But the home game.
I knew he was about to go there.
He didn't get man of the match. I wonder who picked that one.
So
me, by the way.
Yeah, so we're still 1-0 down in the 84th minute.
Bring it forward, yeah.
So 84th minute, it was still 1-0 down in a game we really, really must win. And the atmosphere was just incredible. So I've got the commentary, Kev's commentary, for the goal that got us the equaliser.
They come again. Nice little ball into the feet of Gregson. Gregson looks to turn his man, looks for Solomon. Can't quite find him. It's cleared by Wilde. Doyle will get there. First time ball in towards the box. Ben Sharif wins another header. Flicked on by Gregson. And it's in! Henry Sinclair Smith! Equaliser for Marine! They draw level after 84 minutes! Sinclair Smith out of nothing! Seizing on that loose ball! Gregson winning it, flicked it in towards the goal. Ben Sharif hesitates. Sinclair Smith nips in behind, puts it through Malkowski's leg. 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, it was coming the last 5 minutes. All Marine. Sinclair's done brilliantly, runs into the box, smashes it through the keeper's legs.
So 1-1. And it's a game that then had a significant amount of added time. I think there was 9-10 minutes.
I'll take that draw.
Of added time.
Take
but
the point.
atmosphere by now is just incredible, right?
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Desks are in the
We
right place.
know that this is a game that we need to win. I mean, I've never really heard the MTA like it. Actually, even you know, Liverpool Senior Cup, even the playoff semi-final. This is the game I remember, and then this happens. Right, this is I think the 99th minute.
I think the commentator says it.
Is the last chance for Marine to get a winner. Hutchinson will deliver this long. Works up holding a high enough line outside their 18-yard box. Hutchinson, long, high one. Sass looking to win the header. It drops at the edge of the box. Waters strike on goal. And Marty Waters with an absolute stunner. And Marine might have won this in an unbelievable strike. The MTA is in bedlam. What a goal from Marty Waters. Unbelievable. Wow. Unbelievable. They clear it initially. Bit of a scramble for possession. It breaks to Matty Waters, 30 yards out, and he cannons one into the top corner off the crossbar. Malinowski, no chance. Marine lead 2-1 after 99 minutes. Unbelievable.
Speechless. I mean, what a way to win it. And Matty Waters, unbelievable. The stand around here shaking. I just can't want to finish. What a goal.
An unbelievable way to potentially win a game of football. Matty Waters.
So was this the game you were on the table? The famous video you were on the desk at the back?
Yeah, I don't know how I got there.
I don't even the physics of it.
I don't know how I got there. I don't know how that was even.
He wasn't 30 yards out, so I kind of lied on that commentary. He was only about 25.
Yeah, it was
so
the edge of the area.
not good enough, really, from my perspective. But I thankfully I had my Jamie Carragher next to me, so I mean it's up there with the moment of the season. Yeah. Like top three, top.
We don't
five.
usually get overexcited, do we? In the press box. I mean, some do.
We have some professionalism.
We have
to
some
maintain,
professionalism,
you know? Again, unlike some
that
to
was
your left.
That was one of the few games where we were, we were stood up.
I know, it was unbelievable. And like you said, Stuart, like the noise. I mean, you're sort of tightly packed in that stand anyway, and it's just
shaky. Like I said, it was shaky.
It was unbelievable. And just to go back, it's an unbelievable strike. Like, it's actually incredible. And there's a great, I'm pretty sure it's Matty Waters' profile picture on Twitter, formerly known as X. But no, it's not. But like and there's a great photo of him, like literally, he honestly looks like a left-footed David Beckham the way with the arm and everything, and it's just an unbelievable hit. Like, it's probably it. I know we're getting to it, Adam, but it's probably goal of the season.
That's your choice.
Yeah, it's just the momentum of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. I don't know.
It's like fairy tale. It couldn't have the narrative.
It was just a wow moment, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Like, to be fair, that game, I think you look at the whole season, that game, the fans probably won us that game.
Yeah.
Without the fans that day, I think, there was posts out on media, and I think Neil asked for it, was it maybe Bam, he said, let's get the fans behind us and whatever, and they did deliver that game, and that's probably what we need next season. Get the fans, get it like that. Get the place, make it hostile, like, because it shows, like, we probably wouldn't have won that game without the fans. Obviously the lads and all still have to perform, but like, that was just unbelievable. And it just showed, like, the 12th man won us that game that day, and it's what we need more. We need that when we're going. If we want to go again, we need this place to be bouncing.
Yeah, I think if we hadn't tweeted it on the day, I'm sure we would have mentioned like 12th man cliches. That's the kind of thing we needed, and get Guiseley after that, and then going forward, the Warrington game, the Liverpool Senior Cup games, that was all like 12th man produced, as well as obviously 11 players did their part as well. So I know some people have to go soon. We're going to like whip through some certain pieces before they have to go, but like in terms of maybe Kev, I'm going to single you out because you do have to go. Goals, games of the season, moments specific to you?
To me or the team?
Yeah, to you specifically.
Oh, moments. I mean, yeah, obviously we've talked about at length at Worksop. I think I have the fixtures in front of me here. The Morpeth one at home is an interesting one, the 3-1, where he went 1-0 down, and then Sol got a great goal from the edge of the area, Finn got a penalty, and then Bobby wraps it up. But it's 3 goals in the space of 8 minutes or something. I think that was huge, really, really big. And then again, looking at it, just Lancaster away, Matlock away, you know, Workington away, just real professional performances and tough first half, get the goals when they need to, and then just see it out. And they're the type of games that you have to win. Obviously, we were talking about they didn't beat, you know, Rylands, Mac or Radcliffe on the road. And you may start thinking, oh, are they ever going to beat one of these big boys away from home? And even Ashton on the last day of the season, you know, to secure that home semi-final. I mean, just tough enough places to go that they may have got caught in a bit of a battle earlier on the season, just sought out. And Neil was talking about it, you know, staying games and we have the quality up front, and that's it for me. I mean, you know, they managed to do it brilliantly with so much on the line as well, and the pressure, and it was just, yeah. And then it all leads up to the biggest away win of the season, and I'm sure you guys will delve into Mac a bit more, but just what a game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, from my perspective, obviously doing the TV, you guys were doing the radio, and it was nearly 6,000 fans there. And it's just,
in terms of like someone who's looking to do this for like full time, like that was a kind of pivotal day for nearly everyone involved. Like in terms of like the fact that you had such a great backup on this TV stream, like you would have been on the radio if you could have, but like obviously we got the call that like we're going to do a TV stream, and then you got that opportunity. You're glad that you took that up?
Yeah, particularly because it was the Monday after my stag do as well.
Great timing.
Yeah, you know.
And bucket procedure.
Yeah, come on, professionalism, Sean. No, it was brilliant. Getting up to the gantry for me, like, and being able to do that was phenomenal. Like, my dad came over from Ireland. You know, my sister and her partner were there, and my fiance was there, you know, with the Marine fans behind that goal to the left. And yeah, I usually don't like to listen back to myself because I don't like the sound of my own voice, which is probably not a good trait to have if you want to do this going forward. But I will admit I have watched it back, and again, I don't think, regardless of me and, you know, what I want to do in terms, just probably the performance of the season, I think Neil got it spot on tactically, and the work rate, got the goals at exactly the right time. All right, conceded one, but they never, once they went ahead, they never looked like losing it. And then the scenes at the end with everyone just rushing onto the pitch was just like, some of the photos, the footage is just incredible. And then coming back here and the welcome you get in Crosby was just phenomenal. Like, you'll always remember that. I will. I don't know. It was phenomenal. Absolutely, like one of the best days you're going to have being involved in a football club, without a doubt.
Yeah. Before you leave, you thought we might have stopped talking about Hyde, but we're not, because there's one important thing that we need to bring up, and I feel like I'm looking at you and you already know what this is going to be.
Well, Adam, we've travelled the length and breadth of the north of England here, and we sampled the local cuisines at each ground. And do you have the official name of it?
I'll try and find it.
Basically, Hyde had the best.
Called the Hyde Burger.
Is it called the Hyde Burger?
Is it Mash-up Burgers?
Mash-up
Mash-up
burger.
Burger,
Yes,
that's
Mash-up Burger. It's the best food we've had all year, like by a distance. It's a burger with, what was it?
Teriyaki chicken.
Teriyaki chicken.
Maybe chicken tikka.
It was
It was red. It was like
whatever
red
it was. It was just incredible. And Stuart's looking at me now because he's the only one who didn't have it.
I remember
it, no. You went with it. You were just basic cheeseburger or something, didn't you, on the day? I think.
Can't remember. It was pretty good. I was happy with it.
Yeah, but it was like, and I don't know if Tom and Adam will agree, but for me, standout moment of the season was the Mash-up Burger at Hyde.
the Macclesfield pizzas though.
Oh,
you got
the pizza the first time, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah,
You queued for about 25 minutes to get it, didn't you?
No, it was quick.
Was it?
It took a while to make though.
Yeah.
The pies were good at Macclesfield
Pies
as well.
were good as well. I had the pies.
Really,
as well.
really
Are we
good.
onto the food section now completely?
It looks like.
Yeah.
So we check footy scran basically every
We
week.
do, basically. That's part of the routine on away days, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we'll talk about stuff until Kev needs to go. But like away days, like we've never been on a team bus before.
Yeah.
What kind of have you been on other team buses, Sean, or is this the only one you've been on?
No, I've been on one with Everton.
What's this like? What does a Marine bus compare to other buses? Are they quiet?
Don't know, depends. Like,
Because near the end of the season, he got a bit more like raucous. Yeah, I enjoy. I mean, I went to the back of the bus quite regularly, but these guys, they were scared. Like, I don't think Kev went down until the last day. Tom was
That
terrified.
may or may not be
I don't think
accurate.
Stuart was bothered.
are you scared?
I don't ask them.
I wasn't scared. Just had work to do, you know.
I wasn't scared.
You were made to do some gymnastics, weren't you? At one stage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Bobby Grant was making you do gymnastics, wasn't he?
Yeah. And what was the other
Bobby's a
one?
good lad.
Breath, holding your breath. Or
You're holding your breath.
We have to hold our breath
I
and hang
was ill.
hang off the top of the,
like, where
the bus.
was it? Worthington.
It was
So it was a
Worthington,
long day as well, and I was just knackered, like always. Always tired for
How
some
long did you
reason.
hold your breath for?
Yeah, and I was ill.
He still is now.
I was ill as well. I'd had about a cough for like the week, and then eventually I got dragged up to the back by Adam.
Yeah. Well, I felt like you all
And,
needed
yeah.
to see it.
It was alright.
Yeah.
It was good.
Just remember, Adam, you had a bit more red wine drank at that point than
Yeah,
a lot
me
of
and
us.
James.
Yeah.
Well, I went to get
that's
red
true,
wine
yeah.
from the Tesco and then came out of it and it needed a corkscrew. It needs to go back and get a corkscrew. And at the end of the Macclesfield game on the bus back, there's things that cannot be spoken of that I will never unsee,
Oh yeah.
which we can't even talk about. But this is the review of the season podcast, and in a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, we'll actually do a preview. We'll do some homework. Have you got anything to wrap this up, Stu? About what we've just witnessed?
We haven't talked about the playoff final, have we?
Well, Kev brought up a little bit of Macclesfield, but if you want to talk about Warrington and Macclesfield, we'll go into that. I think Sean's desperate to bring this back around. So shall we?
Yeah, the best,
Okay.
best
That'd be
moment.
odd
The
not
best
to,
moment.
wouldn't it?
You want to talk about the best game of
We'll
the
just
season?
really forget about
The
it.
best
that,
moment
will
on that day was you knocking Stuart's laptop off the.
we? Yeah, I'm
media
sorry
desk.
for that. I'm sorry for
Did
that.
that happen?
It
Don't
nearly
remember that.
happened.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah.
happened, yeah.
No,
The mic went
Yeah,
flying.
yeah. No, that was fine.
And I was
What
trying-
about when
I
I
was
kicked you in
trying
the
to keep-
forehead?
Oh yeah, I'm not.
yeah.
I was trying to hold myself together whilst we were still finishing off the
Oh,
commentary, and I was
that
just
was the worst.
looked at Stuart's mic getting thrown across the stand.
It's just too much joy, that one. It's just like,
Okay, so let's wind back then. So I think Kev alluded to. See you later, Kev.
see you, Kev.
So Kev alluded to the fact that we got the job done at Ashton, and that enabled us to get the home draw against Warrington. And as we'd spoken about, we hadn't managed to beat Warrington or Macclesfield, which was to be our future opponents during the season. So it felt like, in terms of a statistical point of view, like it was against us. But I'm assuming, if we were to ask Sean, like that wasn't the case in terms of the team. You felt like you could get the whole job done.
Yeah, I think what I thought would be hard, I think Warrington Ryland away would have been hard, just because of the pitch and that. I think if we got Warrington Rylands here, I thought, yeah, we'd win. Obviously, like, I've sat down with Neil and he's done all the analysis and that, and Neil's just unbelievable at it. Like, he's just unbelievable at, like, to sit down with him and went to his house to do the Rylands, watch Rylands back and do that during the season. We watch back teams and just what he sees, like, he's just unbelievable at it. He's a tactical genius, and that's why he does so well in the FA Cup and why he does so well against big teams. And he has to be one of the best in the business at it, because, like, with the resources we get, for him to still get that message across to the lads and show them and, like, come up with that idea and the plans, and it's unbelievable. And I thought if we had executed our plan right against Rylands, we'd win, yeah. And it's all up to the lads in it. Neil gives them everything, and the lads were on board. So I thought, yeah, we'd beat them at home. I think that Ashton game was massive. I think getting the home fixture was massive.
Yeah,
definitely.
So, but I mean, both of those playoff games, they were tactical masterclasses. Really. I mean, I was more nervous, I've got to say, about that Rylands game. That felt to me like it would have just been awful to go out in the semi-final of the playoffs. But you know, I'd been watching Marine, been a season ticket holder when we last got promoted. We got to the playoffs just for the playoffs to come up to the Northern Premier League. I didn't really give us much hope because we had to go to Workington away on a Tuesday and win. But I mean, that's when I just witnessed just Neil's genius in terms of those types of games, those must-win games. You know, they're basically cup ties by that point, and he just gets it right. And once you've been through that, once you've experienced that, see what Neil's capable of, his planning, that kind of gives you so much confidence. So I was quietly confident that we'd get through the playoffs, and by the time we were in the final, I was really calm. I really was quite sure that we'd do it. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just that is just where he's at his best as a manager. Absolutely incredible.
I don't think there's anyone better than him, to be honest. Like
He's under contract, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know.
Yeah. But yeah, he's just quality, and he's just like what he does. Like, I think we've played more FA Cup games this year, because I know this one actually, because my lad I live with is an Arsenal fan. So we've played more FA Cup games this year than Arsenal have since the last time they've won it.
One more, okay.
So I think they won it.
I think with Neil, every game is a cup final. I get that feeling from him. Like, you know, we were forgetting that they retained the Liverpool Senior Cup. Obviously, that's on promotions outshining that, but the performances in that, you know, going away to Prescott, that wasn't easy by any means, and I thought that was a brilliant tactical performance as well. Everton, City, Liverpool, the final here at the MTA, all just brilliant tactical masterclasses really from Neil, and it's a brilliant achievement what he's done and what the squad have done to win the Liverpool Senior Cup and go up.
So
and obviously the
like,
FA Cup run as well.
Outside of Sean, like you're the one who's stared him in the eyes more than anyone else this season, because you're typically the person who interviews him. So
Yeah.
what do you think you've learned about Neil this season?
He doesn't like to over celebrate. Like, you know, we heard Bamber Bridges post match. Then that was used to, because I was trying to get a word with Bobby Grant. Yeah, he's calm. He never likes to self praise. He's always giving praise to the team, the fans. When you know, when the fans have especially stood out, I always try and get a few words from him to give them credit. But yeah, he never likes to single out any players. Can't remember that's a specific, but I remember it mentioned a few times. Like the man of the match, you know, someone scored a hat trick, he'd immediately just move to mention every single one of the lads, which I think's brilliant, because, you know, it's a team game. He knows that, of course, being years in the industry, and yeah, he's just brilliant to see him so calm and, you know, yeah, including the whole team and being fair, but also quite nice at the same time. He gives players a good chance throughout the season.
Compliment your shoes.
Yeah.
Love that. So then, so we touched on it with Macclesfield, but like it was an interesting day for everyone, because Stuart had a different role. So Kevin decided to leave us, as he's just done now in this interview, but he's gone upstairs to the gantry. So Stuart took on the mantle, and
well, so did Tom. We did it between us.
And we thought, well, there's 1,500 people going, so, and I think there was even the point where we weren't going to do the commentary, and then we thought we might as well do it.
Yeah.
And then we thought, well, they're all going, and then there's a stream in the bistro, so that we're watching Kev. So Kev's got all the audience, but little did he know that what was the final figure?
It was over 2,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I
over
can't
2,000.
remember how far over 2,000 it got, but it was 2,000 and something, 2,200, something like that. And it was just amazing, because obviously on Mixler you get the people who are logged in, that they can post comments on there.
The engagement was brilliant.
Yeah, the engagement was fantastic. The people from all over the place, all over the world. But what was really, really nice was the number of people on there who were fans of other clubs in the Northern Premier League, Premier Division, and they were getting behind us, and they really wanted us to beat Macclesfield. And and I do think we've got a great relationship with so many clubs in that league, with so many sets of fans, and that really came through.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of those listeners came from. It was absolutely incredible. And and typically, just to kind of benchmark that, I mean, if it's just an ordinary league game, we're really glad if we get 100 listeners, right?
Exactly.
That's amazing if you get to 100.
What was Kevin's highest?
I think it was Halifax.
Halifax was 300, I think.
300.
Yeah.
So
to suddenly have 2,000 people tuned in, when, as you say, the stadium was full.
Yeah.
That's over 5,000 there. The live stream had, I don't know how many people watching it.
700.
Yeah. Plus, all the people here in the bar and bistro. So just incredible engagement, and just a fantastic day. I mean, just for that to be the Northern Premier League, and to have that kind of crowd there in the stadium and that many people following the game via media, just absolutely incredible, really unforgettable.
Yeah. What about you? Like, as you've been a co-commentary for a lot of them. Like, how did that one differ?
There wasn't any pressure, I think, because Kevin had gone. We were just going to do it, and see what happened. And I think we both just enjoyed commentating on it because it was a brilliant game, wasn't it? Like 2-1, end to end throughout the game, and the fans were brilliant. Everyone, the atmosphere was brilliant. It was just a brilliant game to commentate on, and just makes you want to do more. I'm like, I miss it. I want to go back and do it again. It's just, it was brilliant, and yeah.
Thankfully, it was one of those because it's a proper football league stadium. Really, it's one of those ones where you've got a decent space for the media. You've got a great view of the pitch. You're just above the halfway line. You're high up. You can see everything. So, I mean, what Kev does sometimes is some of the circumstances we land in, in very, very unfavourable positions.
Yeah.
How he manages to identify the players and keep everybody up to date on the action is just amazing. So we're in a great position, and it was just the intensity of it. It just carried you along, right? I mean, it's adrenaline. You couldn't stop and think about it. You just had to do it.
I went down 10 minutes early because I wanted to. Well, I went to the toilet.
You wanted to get on the pitch.
I went to the toilet. I did a little sneaky toilet, and then I was by the corner flag with the police. I was like showing me media saying like, "Can I go on the pitch?" And you're like, "Yeah." And then it went off, and then that's when I ran on as soon as possible. You can see a little glimpse of me on the footage, and then got those pictures. And then Sean, you must have been close behind, surely.
Yeah, well, you're getting blocked by Stuart's mic. But
yeah, he's the fastest I've ever run down the stairs, to be honest.
I think James ran down the stairs when we scored.
Yeah,
scored the second goal and got told off by the fans.
Yeah, did you see that on the highlights? Yeah, and the ones that I did. Yeah, he was jumping all over the place. Yeah, I had a few people giving me a few words as well. And I was probably a bit vocal, to be fair, but as usual. But I didn't really enjoy that game.
No, I
hated it, actually.
I agree.
Right. I enjoyed it.
No,
I enjoyed it, yeah.
I hated it.
I
think when it went to 2-1, it was, hang on. Like, I was calmed down a bit, and then the ending was,
didn't enjoy it at all till the full time whistle, and then I think afterwards, I was drained. I was tired, like I was mentally drained. It was like,
yeah.
But then it was like unbelievable. Like, just what a way to do it. Like, I don't know. Like, I know we were underdogs going into it, but I don't think we were. Like by everyone, we were underdogs, weren't we?
Yeah.
Like
we were not even on the betting sites.
I don't think we were written off, but I think some people thought we were. But I actually, when people were saying that, I was surprised because I thought we were favourites.
Yeah, I'm not sure we could be favourites for that game.
I don't think we could be favourites, but like
it's an away game at Macclesfield, and the squad that they've got.
In my head, I thought we were favourites
because there was no pressure.
Yeah, I think all the pressure was on them. I think we lost them. I just have a thing. I don't think. When you're finished 1 point behind the team in the league and you've lost them twice this season, it doesn't matter who they are. 1 point in that long season, and the games we played against them, we didn't play well here at home against them, but we still probably could have got a draw. Away from home, they robbed us. I think we got 17 shots on target and only scored 1 goal. We missed a few sitters. Orwell missed one. Bainbridge missed one.
Yeah.
But
made up for it though.
Made up for it.
Made up for it. But then, we only finished 1 point behind them. Pressure was on their players. It was all about their players' mentality going into the fans behind them. I think Gary Jones said it. If we can rattle these, keep them quiet for 30 minutes, keep it 0-0, I think the fans will start turning.
That's what happened to Halifax as well.
Yeah.
And there was a reason we finished just 1 point behind, right? Which is the last 2 games, they rested most of their key players and they dropped a load of points, right? But they knew that they would finish in that position no matter how many points they dropped. But, I think that was a mistake because I think actually we had momentum. Yeah, I mean, we had players who'd been having to be injected in the foot and whatever to keep playing at various games, but we had that momentum of everybody playing, and the team was clicking and all the rest of it. They rested key players last 2 games, and I think that cost them actually. That lost them a bit of momentum.
Well, we won 8 games in a row, didn't we? I don't think we played similar team, same team like early. Then obviously Neil's tactics as well was so clear in the first half how it was, because just how he set up, and they just couldn't get a foot on the ball, and they were kicking it out of the play. They were getting frustrated, and their fans started turning, and it was just about frustrating them. And the lads did it well, and I seen Finn giving a big fist pump and for a tackle, and it was a great performance by the lads, but just unbelievable. But yeah, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it until after.
I'm with you, Sean.
But that's just it's one of them games, and it's everything comes down to your whole season comes down to that, and you want to be in the National League North. The NPL is a good league, but you've got ambition, and to do it against Macclesfield, which is, I presume, they'd want to win the league next year. I don't know if they will or not, because the NPL is a very tough league. but they'll be strong favourites for it, and they were strong favourites against us, and I think that was more beneficial to us than anything. So, but it's just next season now, and enjoy the summer, and hopefully we can
enjoy the summer. Enjoy this podcast that we've just had as well, because that is Sean has segued very nicely into the fact that that's where we are headed now, into the summer and into the National League North. But before we go, in terms of like a media standpoint, in terms of Tom, what lessons have you learned from your first season doing media?
Just give everything a go. Honestly, I think I learned that when Kev was ill that day, and I was like, I'm just going to do the commentary. I've only got, this might be my only opportunity to do it. So I was like, I'll give it a go. Yeah, just get involved with as much as possible and enjoy it. It's a great opportunity that we've got, and yeah, just enjoy it. And as I said, do as much as you can.
Maybe miss less games next season.
And miss less games, yeah. That wasn't all my fault. None of them were my fault, actually.
We had a running tally for like how many games people had missed, and I think you ended up on 8 each, you and Kev.
Yeah, well, he's left this early. So.
Yeah, true, 8.5.
Yeah.
What about you, Stu? You've as a public announcer and possibly as a commentator, and what's the one thing you'll take, and what are you going to improve on or ignore maybe next season?
Oh no, well, it's just been great fun. It's been fantastic. I mean, one of the things I had to learn very early on is, and this goes whatever you're doing, if you're just writing the match report or if you're doing the commentary or if you're the PA announcer, you have to watch the game a bit differently. So you have to have an attention to detail that you probably wouldn't as an ordinary fan. And there are bits of the game, particularly as PA announcer, where you have to be watching the board by the bench to see if there's a substitution or to see if there's added time. And the action might be going on the pitch, but you've got to keep more than half an eye on that board because there might be a detail you're going to miss otherwise. So it takes a while to sort of learn that that's how you have to watch the game. That's a bit of a difference. Hopefully, I'm hopeful about this. I know there's a few weak spots of the PA around the ground, and sometimes people complain, say they can't hear it and all the rest of it. There's other people who complain in neighbouring houses they can hear it a bit too loud. But hopefully we are getting some new speakers put in and we'll identify some of those spots. But, when the ground is full with so many people in, there's a lot of background noise, and just trying to reach everybody in the stadium can be difficult. And you also need to learn what music sounds good on that PA, and some stuff sounds terrible. And there are some requests I'm just going to refuse. I'm just not going to play certain stuff because I know it won't sound good. So I've had a year of working out what sounds good and what sounds bad, and I look forward to making the playlist for next season.
Good. Music sounds better with you, Stuart. So
well,
keep on going.
Yeah, I do my best.
Personally, I don't know if it's the odd time I think we've done on football web pages, we've sent the same goal twice. So Marine have suddenly gone 2-0 up within the space of seconds. Yeah. That wasn't the case. We just pressed the button twice. What else we've done? What else have we made mistakes with? I can't think of any like major ones. Sometimes the secretary's on the case if we do something.
Yeah.
I don't think we've been too bad.
Forgetting to do full time on web pages.
Oh yeah, full time. Yeah.
I mean, there was a classic mistake I made early on. It was in an FA Cup youth game. You'll remember, Adam, you were sat next to me. So I was going through the lineups, reading out the teams, and I think it was Vauxhall Motors we were playing.
Oh, I was at that day, yeah.
And they had an Italian player, so I was thinking very carefully about the pronunciation of this Italian name with the O's on the end.
That's funny.
And I think they had squad numbers actually, so I announced them as number 20.
That was funny.
Because I was very conscious that this person had a name with O's on the end.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So that did draw a smile. So inevitably you're going to make mistakes, and potentially 2,000 people are going to hear it. But that time I think there was only about 200 in the ground, so it was fine.
Do we get names on shirts next season, Sean?
You'll be happy to hear squad numbers and names on shirts.
Names on shirts would be great. That would be fantastic.
And squad numbers.
Yeah.
I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
Do we get numbers on shorts as well, do you reckon?
I don't know.
I remember there was a couple of teams that had that, and that was a joy.
I'm not. You'll have to speak to Neil or Mr. Maloko.
So one of the things I know that we've all noticed is that you look for anything that makes a player distinctive, particularly when you're far away from the action. And at the MTA, we're quite far away when the action's right at the other end. So there are certain players have very distinctive running styles or way of moving. So you learn to spot those, or players that have certain coloured boots. Anything distinctive. We had one player with a very distinctive hairstyle, a long mane of hair, and that was very, very helpful as well. So there's things you learn to look for. So you've got that player identification.
You could invest in a pair of binoculars, like.
Well, we've got those too that we do pass around sometimes. Yeah.
Adam's famous binoculars.
Didn't know they were that famous. But I think we've wrapped it up. We'll do this again for like a preview because these teams are going to be completely new to us as well, apart from Radcliffe.
Warrington Town.
Oh yeah, remember them? New state.
South Shields.
Well, that's before my time.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
have new sets of players though, won't they?
Yeah, new season, new players. So thank you very much for listening. We're going to go off into night and go to bed, and then we'll see you another time. So thank you very much, and good night.